A few weeks ago, we shared that we are in the process of buying our dream home. So, we're going to be doing a series of videos where we take you along the journey with us and share the financial insights along the way.
Hi, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Tasha, and we are lawyers and wealth experts. And this is One Big Happy Life, where we help you find balance, build wealth, and live happy. Everything that you need to create the life that you want.
Here at One Big Happy Life, we teach you how to use your finances to both build wealth and also live in the now and prioritize the goals that you have right now so you're still living the life that you want to have. And one of the things that's really important to us is having a house, a home that we really enjoy because, especially lately, we're spending all of our time here.
When we first moved to the house that we live in right now, we always knew that it wasn't going to be our forever home. At least we had a really strong inclination that it wasn't going to be our forever home. But we knew that we were going to be here for a while. When we moved here to the DC area, we committed to stay long enough for Alexis to finish high school. And then we would also have conversations about maybe staying here long enough for her to finish college if she went to a local college. And that's basically what we did because Alexis left high school 3 years ago.
Yeah, now I'm through 3.
Yeah, but she left high school at 16 and started at the local community college. So she graduated from the community college last year. Gosh, it feels like 2020 was like 5 years, but it was last year. And she started as a junior at University of Maryland. And so because of COVID, she's been home. But now she's moving out into her own place. And we are finally kind of free to explore doing other things.
Yeah, when we first purchased this house, we were actually a little bit under the gun. We didn't have as much time as we wanted. And so we picked the best option at the time. And sometimes you have to do that. And when you're buying a house, these transactions are a little bit longer term. But we had this game plan going in, and you should always have a game plan of your end game. Why are you buying this house? What are you going to do? Are you going to stay there forever or not? And for us, it was not. And so now we have a little bit more flexibility, although not tons of time either. But because we're, us, we're trying to move as quickly as we can because when we identify a goal, we lean in because we want to hit it. And so now we're trying to build our dream house and it's going to be awesome.
So the first thing to know is that this is happening suddenly, but also not suddenly, right? Because we've been living in this house for 5 years. So the idea of our dream house, the vision of our dream house is something that we've been thinking about. Really, I've been thinking about ever since I bought my first house, which I was 20 when I bought my first house. So it's been almost 19 years since I bought my first house. I've always known that I've enjoyed homeownership and that I wanted to always own a home. And I've always had a vision for what my dream house looked like. But even when we moved here 5 years ago, we've always had that dream house as this kind of distant thing that we wanted to make sure that we were preparing our finances for. Because yes, there are times when you can plan your life out perfectly. Like in my ideal world, I would have bought my dream house when I was 35. And I'm older than that now, but you don't always know when the opportunity to get the thing that you want will show up in your lives. And for us, it happened very suddenly because we weren't expecting Alexis to move out. We were expecting her to stay here another year. But with her school opening up, with classes being in person, it didn't make sense for her to stay here, even though she kind of thought she was going to. So her deciding to get a roommate and move on campus happened about 6 weeks ago.
So now that Alexis is going to be out of the house, we don't really have a firm reason to stay in this location, but we do have a number of reasons why we would want to move to a place and really start setting down roots for the longer term.
And quickly.
Yeah. And so Reeves is about to start kindergarten in the fall. And so it'd be great if we can get in a school that he can just stick with all the way through high school, because you don't want to move your kids unless you have to. And so that's a great time now. So Reeves has already had several transitions. First, he started with a nanny. Then he went to a daycare for a little while. And then he started a school. And then, of course, COVID happened. So then he was home with us for a year. So there have been quite a few changes for him already.
So if we can avoid moving him twice, again, within just a handful of years, that would be our preference, which is, it sounds familiar because that's basically what we did with Alexis. Once we moved here, we didn't want to have to move her again. So Reeves is one reason. A second reason is the business. So One Big Happy Life is continuing to grow. And, I've always had an employee here locally with me in the form of at least Alexis, but we've also hired other people locally, but on a temporary basis. And now we're at the point where we are looking to hire people to be with us long term. And while we do have people who are remote, because I shoot videos and there are other things that we do physically, I also want to be able to hire a couple of people locally, which means that it's time for the business to put down roots somewhere, and also for all of this equipment to get out of our dining room.
Yeah, so expanding into some office space then makes you really think, well, okay, where do I want to have, basically corporate headquarters?
Yeah.
And ultimately, where we are now, it's not that place.
Mm-mm.
Another reason why moving right now is a great time is because my job has been remote for the past year. I haven't had to go into the office, and I can do all my work over, with my computer at home. And it looks like I'm going to be able to continue to work remotely, which means I don't have to be within commuting distance of my office. And so this is amazing, and I'm really excited about it. And so that means that we can start thinking about this house where we want to live, and I don't have to worry about my job because I can move.
And that's always been a big concern for us, which is, if we are going to move, what is Joseph going to do for employment? And the good news is that in this case, he'll just keep doing what he's doing. But the thing I want to circle back to, though, as we're giving our reasons for why now suddenly became the perfect time for us, all of these things came together. Again, it's really because we're even able to notice these things, notice these opportunities, because we've been looking at our lives, because we've been paying attention to what's working well, what's not working. What do we want to change? How do we want to change it? Where do we want to live? How can we make this a possibility for us? And that is really important to being able to pivot quickly and take advantage of these opportunities when they happen. I think too often people get caught up in this notion that, well, this is just the way my life is, and this is the way it has to be, and I'm just stuck here. But really, you have to take the time to ask yourself, well, what do I really want? And how can I make this happen? What are all the different ways that I could make this happen? And in asking those questions, like, one of the things that we couldn't agree on is, well, where do we live? Because Joseph doesn't want to move further south, and I don't want it because it's hot and global warming, and I don't want to move further north because I'm always cold, even here. And so we've been looking at North Carolina. Joseph was getting on board, but we realized that we skipped over a whole state, which is Virginia. And so we started looking at Virginia, and we realized, hey, that could work. The prices were more affordable than here. And I actually lived in Virginia for, something like 8 years before I went to law school. So I'm familiar with the state, and we realized that it checked a lot of the boxes. So we started looking for houses in the Virginia area.
Now, of course, it may still seem like we're moving on this really, really quickly, like all of a sudden, here we are moving. And while that is the case a little bit, it's really not, because we've been able to watch out for this opportunity because we spent so much time with planning and getting our core finances the way that we wanted them. So we've been hitting our minimum savings rate. We've been building wealth, all of our investments, our retirement. And so because we've been hitting everything that we needed to, that then lets us start looking for these lifestyle opportunities and say, okay, well, we got all this stuff, basics, they're all covered. What now? How do we want our lives to evolve? And so we've been working on, I don't know how many years you've had the dream house on your dream board.
Well, I actually just put it on there at the beginning of 2020. But
5
you're
years
right,
ago,
though.
2020.
Right. In that we've also I didn't just have it on a vision board. but we have been actively looking for our dream house for the past, 4 or 5 years to try to figure out where's the place. So we've been doing research for a while, but Joseph's right in that we started thinking, hey, maybe we could do this. It went from, hey, maybe we could do this right now to we're doing this right now. And our house is getting ready to go on the market. In fact, we're having work done, which is why we're actually sitting in a different place in our dining room because we had to rearrange it for staging. But it went from, we think we could do this, to we have a contract with a builder and we are getting ready to put up our house on the market in about 3 weeks. Like, that's how quickly we were able to pivot. And that's what you can do when you have a solid financial strategy, a holistic financial plan that allows for you to both build wealth and enjoy your life along the way. You plan for the life that you want. Here's the thing, you can use your money to enjoy your life while also building wealth along the way. And the best place to get started with that is with our free course, How to Afford Anything You Want. So in that course, you will learn how to start planning for the life that you actually want. So to get your free copy, head on over to onebighappylife.com/afford anything.
In the next videos of this series, we are going to be sharing our entire home buying journey. And because we've decided to build, it's going to be about a year long. And during that, we're going to be sharing all of the financial insights that we have to help you use your money to build the life that you want.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.